Hey everybody, this is Ed,
And it's Kara,
and this is your day's dumpster fire.
where we don't celebrate humanities. Oh! I even did it without the script. I was trying. I really did try.
Problem is, we're still recording.
I know. I don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's fitting. Today's episode, and I'm hesitating to call it an episode, just because it is so backwards to what we normally do, right? The motto is we don't celebrate humanity's successes, but its most fantastic failures. Here we're talking about someone that won, that succeeded hardcore, like somebody who has done incredibly impressive things given the conditions that she started off with as a kid. And I know you and I have been talking about this in previous episodes. We brought in a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to bring in a Holocaust survivor into our classroom and talk with our middle school students. It was a really cool experience, and we had a lot of help from the Arizona Historical Jewish Society, which is great. We were able to bring the kids there, and then our speaker came to school to visit us. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and we were originally planning this like months ago, but our speaker is 90 plus years young and not easily she's probably going to stop running Boston marathons this year. I would assume.
She looks great.
Yeah, she is feisty. She is got a ton of energy, and it was an amazing experience to say the least. I've been blessed in my life to have grown up in a retirement community where I've gotten to speak to a lot of people from previous generations, and this one, it hits just as hard, if not harder, compared to what. But like, there's a trend. There's always a trend, and there's always a message when you talk to somebody who is in their 90s. They will always tell you what their greatest accomplishment is, or like what are they the most proud of. And you'll see at the end of this, like it's very, very, very end of it, she delivers a message. Charlotte delivers a message of like what her greatest accomplishment is and what we need to do just to be decent human beings. So yes, this is a very, very, very different episode. I didn't normally, we kind of play around and we tend to make light of Custer's Last Stand, or a molasses flood or something like that. But this is a very, very, very real story that you're going to hear, and these are very, very real students asking questions. And I do have to apologize. When I set this up in our classroom, I had like an electrical issue with my laptop and my interface and all that stuff. And so yeah, there's times in the beginning where you're going to hear like a click 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 click, or like a very slight buzzing sound. That gets better as it progresses. It's not through the whole entire recording. And then we also ran into an issue where Charlotte's daughter Rose is giving some background information, and we had an issue with like one mic not picking her up, but it picked up on the other mic. So the first 5-6 minutes are going to be kind of goofy, but after that it cleans up nicely. And so yeah, I say let's get it going.
Yeah, we hope you guys enjoy it.
Hey everybody. So we have a very, very special guest here. We are actually in Kara and mine's classroom. We have our middle schoolers here, and we have a rather unique experience going on. We have somebody who has gone through one of the worst tragedies in human history. And Miss Charlotte here is going to tell her story. And we're recording this. It's going to be ad-free. I don't want this monetized in any way. We are also recording this for the Arizona Jewish Historical Society. We want to archive this as much as possible. So yeah, here we are. We have a podcast about failures, but we don't focus enough on successes. And we have somebody who has stood up to some of the worst things in human history and overcome it. So I'm going to mute myself here so I don't go on blabbing. But Miss Charlotte?
Hi.
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 I'm going to introduce you, Mom.
Yes. Dear.
Okay. I'm Roz, her daughter. My mom was born on March 26, 1930. Her early years were marked by a picturesque childhood filled with love and happiness. Everything changed when Charlotte was just 10 years old, much like yourselves. The Nazi invasion of France and occupation of Paris brought terror and upheaval in her life. For the next 4 years, Charlotte lived in constant danger, fleeing for her safety on 6 separate occasions. During this time, the Nazis were systematically rounding up Jews for deportation to concentration camps in Eastern Europe. Tragically, her mother, Rose, was among those deported and perished in Auschwitz, a notorious concentration camp in Poland. By the end of the war, Charlotte had been separated from her family for nearly 5 years. She was reunited with her father shortly after the war ended, and following 2 years of tirelessly searching through the Red Cross facilities, she finally reunited with her brother, Max. After the war, Charlotte returned to Paris and lived there till 1957, where she immigrated to Montreal, Canada. It was there she met the love of her life, Alex, and they shared 50 years of marriage until Alex passed in 2011. They raised 2 wonderful children and became proud grandparents of 2 grandsons. Charlotte's story stands as a powerful testament to the resilience and remembrance. Among the 76,000 Parisians who perished in the Holocaust, her mother, Rose, is honored at the Holocaust Museum in Paris, built in 2005 to memorialize those who were lost. And now I'm going to introduce Charlotte to you.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Adelman, and I'm gonna tell you part of my story, how I survived for years of endless being always in hiding. This is when I started first grade, and I was a happy girl. I had a happy life. I had a mother and a father, and a brother who was 6 years younger than me.
Kara, you to advance it. Like I said, when the clicker really fails.
This is a building before the war a very modern building in Paris. And it was such a building that nobody in Paris, I mean, not too many people in Paris had all our commodity that we had. We had a terrace for the kids to play, elevators, incinerator to put the trash, hot water, cold water, bath, shower. It was the most modern building. And I had so many friends that played on the terrace with the kids. But unfortunately, in 1941, when the German came in, all that changed because when they came, they said that all the Jews had to register and had to have a Jewish star, even the kids. And when we walk on the street, when we saw Germans, the Jews had to walk where the cars are running. And when it was lined for food, we always had to be at the end of the line. And when we drive on a subway or a bus, always at the end. We was really treated the worst they could. But at one point, they came and took the older men, the Jewish men. They came and tried to get him away to deportation. But when they came to my apartment, at first, when I was at the window, I was always at the window. I said to my father, "Oh, Papa, I see some people going on trucks with suitcases." So my father said, "Oh, don't worry, I did the world, nothing gonna happen to me," not knowing what was going on. So he went downstairs and we had, it was such a big building. We had a janitor, and the janitor was the gendarme and the Nazi soldiers. And when they asked for his paper was marked with Jewish, red and Jewish. They said, "Oh, he's good." When my father heard he's good, my father said, "Wait a minute." He ran back to the apartment, took a couple things, and my mother said, "What happened?" I said, "Don't ask." And he went to the third floor to Madame Roland, a nice neighbor of us, and he went to hide there. The gendarme came back to the apartment, and they said, "Where is your husband?" So she said, "I don't know." So that was it. At night, Madame Roland came to the apartment and she said, "Give me a suitcase and clothing for your husband. I'm going to put him in a hiding place." So my father went to a hiding place. A year after, a gendarme knew my mom. My mom was known in the neighborhood because Rose, her name was Rose. She was good with everybody. She was saying hello to everybody. And the gendarme came in and he said, "Tomorrow morning, they come and pick up the kids and the women. So if you have a place to hide, go to hide." So we didn't know where to go. So we had a church across the street. So we asked the church if they can hide us. So they hid us a little bit, but they couldn't too long. Then we went to a nursing home down the street, and we asked if we can stay. So they said, "Well, just a little bit." So then my mother got in contact with my father, and she said, "We cannot hide anymore. What we going to do?" He said, "Wait, I met a man," and the man said, "If I give him money, he's going to put the kids in an orphanage, and he's going to pass us to another town." So my mother say, "Okay." So they put us in an orphanage. The orphanage was near Rue Lamarck, near the Sacré-Cœur in Paris. And my parents one day came to say goodbye to us, but my brother had scarlet fever, so he was in a hospital, and I was alone in the orphanage. And when I was in the orphanage, my parents came and said goodbye. But instead, the man took the money, and instead to give him a pass to go somewhere else, he gave them up to the German. The German came and picked him up to go to the camp. So when my mother went on the truck, in fact, the woman was hiding under the tablecloth in the dining room, and the German pulled them by the hair and tried to get them on the truck. And when my mother went on the truck, my father was behind the truck, and it was a little street there. So my father said to my mom, "Come, because I'm not jumping in that truck." So she said, "No, if I go with you, they're going to kill me and I'm not going to see my kids." So she went. Unfortunately, she went to Drancy, to other camp, Auschwitz, and she was killed. My father escaped, and on account of my father, I'm here, because he did a lot of ways for me to be put. First, I was with a neighbor in our own apartment, and Madame Elazar, and she kept me for a little while. And then my father contacted Madame Elazar, and she said, "I don't know how long I can keep her." So my father said, "I'm going to make arrangement for her." So he made arrangement. He was working in the east of France, that's called the Ardennes, because they promised him if he worked for the German in the east of France, his wife not going to be deported. Little he know the wife was deported long time ago, but he did the best he could, not knowing what happened. And when so he called Madame Elazar and he said, "I'm going to send somebody to get Charlotte to come close to me." So I went with Mr. Catreville. He came to pick me up, and I went to the Ardennes. In the Ardennes, they own a post office and a little farm. So I went to their home, and my father joined me to say hello. I was so happy to see my father. And my father said, "You're going to stay with those people, and I'm going to work here, and I'm going to see you time to time." I said, "Good." So I stay in that apartment, home. And one day, it was a very big German there that conducted the whole town, and it was very severe. So and luckily, Madame Catreville was at the post office working the lines, and she heard that they're coming to pick up all the Jews are working for the German. So she ran to my father and she said, "Take your daughter and run to the woods. At the end of the woods, it's a woman who's going to take Charlotte, and you run to attack them with the underground." So I ran to the woods with my father. My father dropped me at the woman's house, and then he ran away. And the German was running with the dogs. In fact, I'm so afraid of dogs today on account of that. So when the woman saw me at the door, she said, "Oh my God!" And the whole village knew each other. They was like cousins to each other. He said, "Oh no!" She said, "You're gonna go back to the Catreville. I cannot. Can you hear me good? You're gonna go back to the Catreville." So she put me in a wheelbarrow, covered me, and get me back to the Catreville. So the Catreville said, "What we going to do here with her?" So she said, "I don't care, I'm out." So she left, and the Catreville went right away to call a couple people to help them. It was a home next to them. It was no home, just a cellar. So he called a couple people to crawl from his home from his cellar to the other cellar. And it was dark black, no windows, no light. So they put me on a mattress in that cellar with a carousel lamp, a mattress, and a bucket to make, and that was it. But luckily, the daughter was very nice. She knew when I was living with them that I love little pies, so she was always making me a cherry pie or a kind of pie to please me. And she was always treating me so nicely, taking my bucket every day. And I would say, "Don't take it every day." She said, "Oh, no, it has to be taken every day." And she was there all the time with me. And there in France at that time, we didn't change every day. We changed once a week. So she would give me my clothing once a week, clean clothing. And then one day, I couldn't stand anymore. I was so frustrated. I got up and I said to them, let me stay one night to sleep with you, to be with you guys. So they say, okay, only one night. Unfortunately, just that night, the German knocked at the door and came because she had a boyfriend that was on a furlough and he wasn't supposed to stay. He was supposed to be back to the army. So they was really looking for him, but not knowing for whom they was looking. He took me in his arm and we was going to jump in the garden in the back of the home. And I was in his arm, but I was luckily very little. And when they say, Robert, so he threw me back on the floor in their home and he jumped to go with them. But when the Germans saw that he dropped something, they didn't know what he dropped. So they came on the front door to look what he dropped. So I slid under the single bed and I got close to the wall and I put my little hand because they was coming with their bayonet and there was a way like that from me with their bayonet. So I put my little hand in my mouth not to scream. When they left, Mr. Catreville pulled me from under the bed. He said, oh, she's white like a sheet. So I said, what you going to do with me? So they said, we're going to put you back in the cellar and never come back. So he gave me a shot of cognac to put me back to myself and put me back to the cellar. And I stayed there until the end of the war. But what I was doing in that cellar, I didn't know what to do. So I was, our grandmother gave me some stockings to knit for the family. And I was making up story. I have a home, a husband, I have children, I have a girl, I have a boy, and I take them to school, I take him to the doctor. I was making up story to keep me alive. And finally, in 1944, they came down and they said, Charlotte, come up, the war is finished. And when I came out, the whole village was so dramatic and they couldn't believe that I was alive. They couldn't believe that they hit me. And they made a little party for the Catreville for doing what they did. And then I waited for my father after the war, to come back. And my father came back to the Catreville and he said, where is Charlotte? And they find me. But now he said, I'm going to go back home to see what happened. I said, no, Papa, take me home with you. He said, first I have to see what happened. I said, I go with you and you're going to see with me what happened. So he took me to Paris. And unfortunately, it was people who took our apartment. So he told him to get out. It's his apartment. And then we went back to the apartment and we had to refurnish because he took away everything. And I stayed in the apartment with my father. And then we was looking for my brother. And we find my brother 2 years after the war with the Red Cross. And when my brother came, unfortunately, my father was with people who told the kids to eat under the table. So when he came home, he slid under the table. He said, throw me whatever you want. So my father said, the war is finished. You come up to the table. He said, no, if I come up, they're going to slap me. So my father has to take a special doctor to put back him to a normal place, and he sent him to special school. And believe it or not, my brother became a dentist, and he had a nice life. And he stayed in Paris, and he married, and he married a girl who had a little girl. He adopted her. Her name was Cecile. And I correspond with my brother. And everything was okay from this point on.
How long were you in the cellar?
I was I was nine months in the cellar, and that cellar was okay, but I was trying to make up stories not to get crazy, and it left me a very bad taste. In fact, up to today, I'm back to the cellar. I always dream of I always dream what the German did to us. I mean, it's always in my heart. It's always with me. I get up with it. I go to bed with it. And that's my life, unfortunately.
Wasn't there a church across the street?
Oh, yeah. It was a church across the street. And we went to hiding with that church. And the church was so nice to my mom. And they hid us. And they did everything they could to help us. But unfortunately, they couldn't do too much. In fact, after the war, that church disappeared. This is before the war.
Wait, let me just change this.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is before the war, a month before, with my mom, me, and my little brother.
This is a month before your mom was taken.
Yeah, a month before my mother's was taken away. This is Betty, my girlfriend, Madame Elazar, who took me in. And I was so dirty from that Romanian woman. My legs was dark and my arm dark. So she was so proud to clean me up. So she took a picture with my friend Betty. This is my father when he was a soldier. And that picture is very important. My father kept that picture to show my brother who he was, because when he found my brother, he didn't recognize him. He recognized him only with a picture. This is when he went for the underground to go against the German. And this, my father, after the war, he remarried, and I was very upset not to see my mom. So it was a group of Jewish kids that the Jewish people organized that lost a father, a mother, or both, to rehabilitate us, to go live with our stepmother, stepfather. And I'm in the middle in red, and I could never rehabilitate. I was very miserable not to have my mom. And this is my brother when he became a dentist in the circle. He graduated as a dentist from a beggar. And this is the kids from Madame Elazar, daughter and son. When they came to visit, we took a picture. And this is a family, the Fragman in Canada. When after the war, I didn't want to stay in France anymore because I didn't have my mom. So my father said, "Where you want to go?" I said, "I want to go to the States." But I didn't have the papers. So we had good friends in Canada, Montreal. And he went with me there, and he said, "Would you take Charlotte for a little while, because she doesn't want to stay in Paris." So the mother and father had 5 kids, and 5 kids, and they say, "Oh, sure, she can stay with us." So I stay, instead to stay 1 year, I stayed 3 years. So my father, after 3 years, said, "You know what? It's about time to come home." So when he talked to Madame Fragman, she was the best friend of my mom. So she said, "Oh, you know what? She doesn't want to go yet back to Paris. So why don't you go to the Laurentian? It's a place where they meet men." So my father said, "Okay." So I went to the Laurentian with my father, and I sat for lunch at the table. And my husband-to-be came to the table, and he said, "What you doing here?" So my father said, "Well, I'm taking back my daughter to Paris because I want she find somebody nice and she didn't find. So I'm taking her back to Paris. So he put his hand on my hand. Her name was Alex. He put his hand on my hand. He said, "She is mine." So my father said, "Oh, that's good." So my father went back to Paris and he sent me back to the Fragman. And my husband sent me a letter that he wants to marry me. He wants to meet his family. So he sent me a ticket for the flight and a hotel to stay. And I met the family. And right there and there, I went to the living room and the whole family was in the kitchen because he knew what was going to happen. So he put a ring on me and he said, "Ask General de Gaulle if I can marry you." I said, "Don't ask General de Gaulle, ask me." And that was it. I married him and I was married 50 years with him. And he was a man of gold. I couldn't say anything wrong or do anything wrong. And that was the family with me. Then I went back to Paris. My mother is memorized in a museum in Paris. And luckily, she was at the right side because it's name on top of the wall. And she was at the right side. And I was just happy to see her at the right side of me, that I could. Reisler Rosenzweig, she was born in 1910. And she was in her 30s when she was taken away. And I go to that museum in Paris whenever I can go to Paris.
That's the orphanage.
Oh, that's the orphanage where I was taking in the orphanage. And it has a plate there.
Oh, go back. Yeah. Go back to the orphanage.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
That's the orphanage where it's a plate where 79 kids was taken away. And luckily, a Romanian woman took me to adopt me. So I wasn't taking, and my brother had scarlet fever. So we was lucky because all the 79 kids got killed. And that's the museum where I met Alan, the little boy that nearly was killed from the German because he was going to say Lolot, and the grandmother put a bar of soap in his mouth. And from that time on, he never forget that. So he wanted to meet me because he felt so bad with that bar of soap. So here I am with him in Paris. We meet each other.
He was part of the family that protected my mom where she was living in the cellar. He was the little boy, Jeanette's brother.
And that's Jeanette. Luckily, my daughter in 2018 took me back to the village to see Jeanette, who was dying. Jeanette was the girl who was helping me, taking my waste and gave me food. And she loved me and treated me so good. So I'm so happy I saw her. She died a year after I saw her. And this is the certificate of Yad Vashem recognizing the Quatre Villes in Israel for what they did for me. And this, my daughter made an Eiffel Tower, a cake for my 80th birthday. And this is the sign at they took away the 79 kids at the orphanage. Luckily, my brother and I wasn't among them. They was killed. And this, when I went back to the village where I was hiding, I went back and the villagers came to meet me. They were so happy to see me again. And that church there, nobody lives in that village because the church that was across the Quatre Villes is full with bullets. They kill people every night. So nobody wants to live there anymore except people that didn't live there before.
the Cottervilles risked their lives to protect my mom. And if they were caught, they would be killed across the street. I think that's it.
That's it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll open it up for some.
For some question, I'm ready for question.
Let me turn you around.
I think we got a lot of
And you take the question, Ross.
kids here with questions.
Okay.
No, I'm not muted. I checked. I did switch up the microphones earlier, but that's fixed.
Will we be going up to the mic to ask the question?
You can if you want to.
Yeah, I'd rather you. Yeah. Did you call?
Okay. All right, Nathaniel, you're first.
Okay. He's going to talk the question.
Okay.
To the mic. He's going to ask it, and I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
So she can hear your question. I turned the gain down so you can speak louder and not overpowered. So.
All right. First off, thank you for sharing your story on behalf of all of us.
He said, "Thank you for sharing your story."
Oh, you're more than welcome.
My question is, did you meet with any former German soldiers after the war?
Did you ever meet with any German soldiers after the war?
No.
No. And do you think something like the Holocaust could ever happen again?
Do you think the Holocaust could ever happen again?
You never know, unfortunately.
And what can we do to prevent that?
What can we do to prevent something
Well-
like that from happening?
Luckily, we live in a nice country. This is the best country. That's why I came here, because the other countries are more likely to have war. But America, so far, is the best country, and you have to love it, because I love it with all my heart.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Mm-hmm.
What did you eat and drink while in hiding?
What did you eat and drink while you were in hiding?
Oh, I drank, she, believe it or not, she gave me some soda. I have some soda, and but mostly water.
What did you eat?
Oh, I ate very good. She made me breakfast and she made me lunch and dinner. That's how I know, because there was no light. I had a carousel lamp and a mattress, no window. So I didn't know when it was morning, lunch, and dinner, only by the meals. And I even say, you can jump meals if you want. She said, no, you're going to have your meal, you're going to have your pie, you're going to have everything what you need. And she gave me my change of clothing. In France, at that time, we didn't change once a week, not every day. So, but she treated me like gold. And I'm happy I went to see her a couple of years after. I'm so happy because she really was great.
Also, when you were with the Romanian woman that was keeping you, that was going to sell you to the Germans,
Yes.
What did you eat with her?
Oh, with her, it was just an apple and a piece of bread for the day. Luckily, I went down to the janitor, and the janitor was giving me cookies. But the janitor found out that she was going to sell me to the German, because I'm going to tell you why. Luckily, I know Yiddish. Yiddish is a slang of German. If I didn't know Yiddish, I wouldn't understand. The Romanian woman, was selling me to the German. I went downstairs to the janitor and she said, do you know somebody that can come and pick you up? I said, yes. I gave 2 addresses, but one was non-Jewish and she was afraid. And then Madame Elazar, a friend of us, she came and she said to the Romanian woman, oh, I just want to take Charlotte for a little walk and I bring her back. That was it. I went with Madame Elazar and she was horrified the way I was. I was smelling full with lice and dark arm, dark legs. And she cleaned me up. And a couple of days, she took a picture because she was so proud to clean me up.
How did you clean yourself while you're hiding during the Holocaust?
How did you clean yourself?
Oh,
Jeanette came and she helped me to sponge myself.
Like a sponge bath.
Sponge bath.
How did you remove the lice?
How did you remove the lice when you got to Mad? How did she remember?
Oh, Madame Elazar removed the lice, luckily, because I was no lice in the cellar. Madame Elazar, every day, she didn't do it once a week, every day wash my hair and comb all my lice. And when I went out from Madame Elazar to the Catreville, I was clean of lice.
All right, so my name is Joseph, and I'm also Jewish, and my dad was born in Montreal, and my great-grandma Etta is also a Holocaust survivor. And so my questions are, one, when did you learn English?
When did you learn English?
Oh, when I came to the country, I didn't know one word of English. I tried to read the paper and listen to the TV, and I learned my English on my own. In fact, I needed a job, so I was very poor in English. But I say, when I went and got a job, I say, my English is poor, but my numbers are good, because I was good in accounting. And at that time, they took me in and gave me a chance. Today, I might not have a chance, but at that time, they took me in and gave me a chance. And I work for Dahl Corporation, and I work for American Express.
And my other question is, where did you live after Montreal?
Where did you live after Montreal?
After Montreal, I went to Philadelphia.
That's where your husband.
Yes.
And do you still live there today?
Do you still live in Philadelphia today?
Who?
You.
No. I live here in Arizona.
And did you move straight from Philadelphia to Phoenix?
Yeah, you how long were you were in Philadelphia for what, 25 years?
25 years, yeah.
And then moved to Arizona.
Okay.
Hello. So my question is, what was the hardest time for you when you were in hiding?
What was the most difficult time for you when you were in hiding?
Well, I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, and it was dark. And what I did, I made up stories. I have a home, I have a husband, I have a car, I have a girl, a boy. And believe it or not, all that came true after the war. In fact, I dreamed of a red car, and my husband had a little red sport car.
That's so cool. Okay, and then my other question is that how did you feel when the Holocaust was over?
How did you feel when it was over?
Well, I was very happy, but the unfortunate part is I didn't find my mom. I was thinking I would see my mom, and that was very hard for me because my mom spoiled me until the age of 10. She loved me so much. Until the age of 10, she dressed me, feed me, and put me on the party. That's what she did to me. She didn't do me a favor, but she loved me to death.
Thank you.
Hello. I have two questions. My first one is, what gave you hope during hiding?
What gave you hope during hiding? What gave you hope?
Oh, because I wanted to see my parents. I didn't know what happened to my parents, so I wanted to see my parents, so I had to be good to see my parents.
And then at any point when you were in hiding, did you start to believe that, there really was something wrong with you because you were Jewish?
It's a good question. When you were in hiding, did you ever think about that there was something wrong with you because you were Jewish? Did you understand that this was being done to you because you were Jewish?
Oh, yeah, no, I understood that. You know what? When things go bad, you get aware of things fast. It's not a dream. It's right there.
How did it make you feel being Jewish, knowing that this was happening to you?
Well, I felt bad. But it's nothing I could do. And the family that was in hiding in the cellar after the war, they took me to the church and they said, we want to baptize you. And when they took me to the priest said, she's 14-year-old now. She was 10-year-old when she came to you. She's 14. I have to ask her, do you want to be baptized? I said, no, I don't want to be baptized because I know I'm Jewish. But because I stay with the nice people and they give me refuge, I will go to Mass with them and I will learn the rosary. But I don't want to be baptized.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Jackson, and I have about 2 questions. The first one is, what could you understand during the whole thing? Like, what was happening that you definitely knew?
What did you understand was happening when you were in hiding? What did you think was happening?
Oh, I knew what was happening. I was dreaming of the end of the war, that I should get back with my mom and my father and my brother. That's the only thing that kept me alive, because I wanted to see him soon.
But you knew that there was a war going.
Yes.
Okay, and my second question is, what were you doing, or what was your life like before all of this happened?
Before the war, what was your life like?
Oh, it was beautiful. I live in a beautiful... are we going to show pictures?
We already did that.
Oh, okay. I live in a beautiful modern building. We had a terrace, and all the kids went to play on the terrace from the 4 buildings, A, B, C, D. And it was 10 floors and 10 apartments. And so many kids. I had so many friends. I had a wonderful life. In fact, I didn't want to go down for lunch. So my mother would bring lunch upstairs on the terrace to feed me, because I wanted to stay with the kids to play.
What happened to all those children?
Well, mostly, I had about 30 Jewish friends. They all gone.
Okay, thank you. That's all of the questions I have.
Hi, my name is Josie, and my 2 other questions were already asked, but did you have a radio that you listened to in hiding?
Did you have a radio that you were able to listen to?
No. I had a grandmother who came down and helped me to knit stockings for the family. That's it.
No communication.
No communication with anybody.
No phones.
No. In fact, one time I went up, but that time that I went up, the German came in, so the father threw me back to the cellar, and I was so scared. I was hiding under the bed, and I came out. I was white like a sheet. So he gave me a shot of cognac. He said, back to the cellar, and that's it.
And then I have another question, and I think you answered it, but I wasn't quite sure. But how old were you when your parents told you what was happening?
How old were you when the war first started happening?
How old I was?
Yeah, 10.
I was 10.
Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Jackson, and I'm also have the same name as the other Jackson. So here are one of my questions. How did the Holocaust affect you?
How did the Holocaust affect you in life?
Well, it unfortunately, the German didn't get me, but they brand me, because I get up with it and I go to bed with it. It never goes away from me. It's there and it's staying there.
But you have a message.
Oh yeah, I have a message to tell the everybody when you all through with the questions.
Yeah, she does have a message that's helped her.
This might be one in the stories, but what did you do in the cellar other than make up stories?
What else did you do in the cellar besides making up stories?
Oh, the grandmother was nice. She came down and she showed me how to knit stockings for the family.
So I still have questions, but what are one of the tragedies that you have gone through? Might be in the stories as well.
What was the worst thing that happened to you during the war?
I said one of the tragedies.
The tragedies?
One of the tragedies. Okay.
Explain that a little bit more.
Like what are one of the tragedies that she has gone through in the Holocaust?
In the Holocaust, what was a tragedy that you experienced during the Holocaust?
Well, the most experience, I was so attached to my mom when they took away my mom. That was the worst. It was like you cut my arm and you cut my legs, because until the age of 10, she fed me, she dressed me, she was everything around me. So that's the worst that happened.
Mm-hmm. That's all of my questions.
Hello, my name is Kane, and if you could take back one thing you said or did, what would it be and why?
If there's anything that you could take back that you said or did during the war?
During the Holocaust and hiding.
During the Holocaust and hiding, was there anything that you said or did that you would take back?
No, that was my way to be, and that's it.
You feel like everything went perfectly and there's nothing you would change at all?
Well, I wish it would not, the whole thing didn't happen. That's why my wish.
Yeah. But you feel like you did your part to the best. Like, there's nothing you would take back.
I think the one thing that we've talked about before is there was a janitor that helped my mom. And you wish that you would have gone back after the war, right?
To see her, because she helped me. And I was too young and too happy to see my father and back to life normal. So I forgot about the janitor, and I regret that.
That's the one thing that she wishes that she would have done. But we did dedicate.
Oh, I dedicate the Catreville to Yad Vashem to recognize for what they did for me. So I wanted recognition for that family. In fact, they came in the village and did a ceremony for the son, for these parents, for what they did for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for your time. My name is Eli, and in your opinion, what would you say the worst part of it was? Was it the hiding? Was it going into it? What would you say the worst part was?
What was the worst part about the war? What was the worst part? Was it hiding in the cellar? Was it being held by the Romanian? Was it being in the orphanage?
The worst part was when they took away my mom. They took away my arm and my leg, and that was the worst part. And I wanted to see my mom after the war. In fact, we went to places to see where deported came back. So my father and I went to all the hotels to find if she was there. And we find that 2 years only after they sent us a certificate. I have the certificate here. They sent us that she died in 1979 and in deportation in Auschwitz.
1942.
1942, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to give your message, Mom?
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
I do it.
Do you want to do your question?
Could I?
Yeah, and then we'll have her give her message.
So this is a question that I ask anybody who is more experienced in life than I am. What is the proudest moment of your life?
What are you most proud of? What's the proudest moment of your life?
Well, the proudest moment of my life is when I married my husband, when I find a nice man, and not only a nice man, but the whole family. I had a family back because my father was from 10 kids and my mom from 9. And we had cousin, aunt, uncle. when we ate at my mom's place, we never ate alone. It was always full with people. So when I find my husband with a family, that made me feel very good.
That is quite essentially like the most common answer, because I've known people who worked in the Manhattan Project. I've known people that has fought in Normandy and Vietnam and just World War I, World War II. And I asked them this question, what is the proudest thing in your life? And they always say it's their family. Like their
beautiful family.
Yes.
Like their greatest contribution to the world is their family.
Well, my message is going to be among family.
Yeah. So what is your message?
Oh, my message is love your family, because you have only one family in a lifetime. Be positive in life, because negativity doesn't bring you anything. And be positive.
Respectful.
Oh, and be respectful to each other. And that's my message. And I wish you the best of everything that it should happen to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My mom has a website if you want to stay up to date. CharlotteAdelman.com.
Yeah, we'll be sure to we'll put that in the show notes and all that. So wow. That was that's the story. That's a set of experiences that I don't know about you, but it takes away my complaining rights.
I've never complained.
Actually, yeah.
I complain a little bit, but I don't complain very much.
That's true. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you never gripe about anything. Whereas, like, I could stub my toe 3 weeks ago, and I could go on for hours about it. No, but what really stood out to me, and you can kind of hear it with the kids, like it resonated with them, is that message where she's like, "You've got to cling to your family. You've got to live life as happy as you can." And given how powerful her background is, and the part that really kind of hit me over the head is when she was talking about like all of her friends that she grew up with up until the point where she had to go into hiding. None of them made it.
Yeah.
And then her mom. And then it's just like, how many times do we hear, you know, when we were teenagers, the like, oh, my parents drove me up the wall and this and that. And then you hear from Charlotte, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't say stuff like that. And I remember when she was saying, you know, like that final message, just how important family is. And those kids were the most quietest I have ever heard them.
I think it's one of those things where it's for the kids. It was important for me as their history teacher for them to really experience somebody who is experienced. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
A lot of
experienceception.
An event like that.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to read about it. It seems really detached and far away. But when you have a living human being talking to you about what they went through during that particular event, that's when it really hits home.
Well, and I remember talking to a few of them, and I was asking them at the end of it, the part that really stood out to them. I think it was Nathaniel. He's like, the only way she gets through it after all these years is by telling her story, because she relives it every single day. And I've seen that with so many folks that have experienced, whether it's a battle or a war or a tragedy such as this. and the thing that really kind of stood out to me, and I kind of want to bring this up because we're obviously going to have a lot of our students and a lot of their friends are going to be listening to this and their parents. I was exceptionally proud of
Me too.
how
They did great.
how respectful they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's the previous generation's job is to gripe about the next upcoming generation for whatever reason. But I'm sorry, when it really came down to it, these kids, they understood that, okay, the respect part starts now. And we do not divert from that at all. So yes, I really want to mention that, how well they did, how mature they were. I really enjoyed their questions. They were asking some pretty tough ones. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. We're gonna have links to the Arizona Jewish Historical Society in the show notes. If you are in Arizona, if you're in the Phoenix area, swing by. It is a really cool place. They do a lot of other cool like side presentations. Like we were
do
there on
events and
events. Like we were there and we actually saw letters. Like they brought them in on I think it was a Saturday. I took my youngest daughter to it and they actually had letters from like concentration camps.
yeah, letters to loved ones who were not in the camps, and
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting because they weren't allowed to write anything negative.
Yeah.
It had to be very basic, very, oh, I'm doing well, how are you?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So they were pretty interesting to read.
And then some of them they would even go so far as to they would kind of put like secret words in there to kind of be like, hey, I'm terrified, but I'm doing great, kind of a thing. But they had to write it in such a way that the censors couldn't get it. So there's a lot of amazing things going on there, especially like when they have the hologram, the Holocaust survivor hologram, where they have like hundreds of questions that you can ask this person and he will tell you everything that, you know, because they sat him down for like what 40-50 hours over the course of a couple of weeks just asking him questions to record. And then
they have his, and they're doing a second one too. So for anybody who's local or if you're planning on visiting, they're actually working on expanding. So they're going to be moving into a larger building in the next year or 2 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they have that one, that gentleman who recorded those questions, and then they're in the process of, or maybe they just finished it, of doing another person, a second one.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool. Keep an eye out for that.
And they also have that VR experience.
Yeah, the VR experience was nice. But yeah, go visit it. It's awesome.
Yep.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, go
People
check them out, support them. So yeah, it's a pretty cool experience, I think, for all of us, for the kids. I know Charlotte really enjoyed it. She got a kick out of them. So I would say keep it a hot mess, but don't. I'm gonna say cling to your family and be as happy as you can. And when in doubt, listen to what Charlotte says, because you can learn a lot from her. So until next time.
Thanks for listening.